I bought the Retron 5 Hyperkin Beach Edition for $180 off of Amazon.com. It arrived in 2 days, which is 3 days faster than it was supposed to, so I'm ecstatic and I'm opening it right now. On first impression, I'm impressed with the box and how everything is wrapped up and all the things that are included with it, which are the power cable, HDMI, and two controllers, one wired and one wireless. Let's get this thing set up with a couple of Genesis games and a Game Boy game. Initially, I ran into so many issues with getting the Sega Genesis games I had to play to actually show up on screen and load properly. The games I tested were Sonic the Hedgehog Spinball and Cosmic Spacehead. These games took forever to get to appear on the Hyperkin and to even load properly. At one point, Sonic didn't even show up. The music would play, but I could not move, I could not pause, I could only go back to the home menu on the Hyperkin, and even then that started to freeze. This is not a good start in my opinion, so I plugged in Pokemon Crystal, and I had a few issues with it being detected on the Game Boy Color slot as well, but eventually I was able to play it. The Genesis, though, took me ages, and these games' contact pins have been cleaned, so there's nothing wrong with them, and they worked on my original Genesis when I had it 2 years ago. So, eventually, I got the Sega Genesis games to load up properly, and I was able to play them without much fault. The controllers are laggy. The wireless and the wired are both equally laggy. There's about a half-second delay from what button you hit to when it actually shows up on screen. And just an FYI, yes, I have the latest firmware for this, so any button lag and any games not wanting to load are not caused due to old firmware. I have the latest firmware installed on this thing, so I don't know what exactly the issue is, but I am not very impressed. I will say the video quality, as you can tell, looks pretty good. I mean, everything's stretched. I have it stretched to widescreen. I have the widescreen turned on because I cannot do letterboxing in video games. It has to be stretched. It has to look smushy. I love it. A lot of people don't, but I do because it looks great on YouTube as well. But yeah, this is not a great first impression for owning this thing for 4 days and still running into this issue every single time I try to put one of these three games in. I run into this issue every single time. I just want to put a game in and have it load and be on my merry way. But this thing is not allowing me to do it. I do not believe it is worth the $180 on Amazon after taxes with these kind of issues. It should be working right out of the box. This is not an AT-AT Games Sega Genesis Mini. This is a almost $200 emulating machine made for this kind of thing. It's made for this kind of thing. And yet it does this. If yours works, I'm happy. Good for you. You get to enjoy playing your old classic games and making YouTube live streams or YouTube video edits of your video games. Meanwhile, I'm having to finagle the crap out of this thing to even get it to load a game properly.